Welcome, gents. When the world doesn't give you what you need, you learn to build it yourself. That single truth defines the Sigma male. He's the type who never waits for anyone to save him or show him the way. He figures things out on his own, not because he wants to prove anything, but because life has taught him that independence is the purest form of strength. While others chase experts or cling to systems, the Sigma learns, adapts, and builds his own methods. That's why he becomes the jack of all trades. He's the man who can shift from one world to another without breaking stride. One day he's fixing a problem no one else can handle, and the next he's mastering a new skill that seems unrelated, but somehow fits perfectly into his vision. His mind works like a network of hidden pathways, connecting lessons from every corner of life. What makes this special is that it's not about pride. It's about survival, freedom, and control. The Sigma male doesn't crave attention. He craves capability. He knows that the more he learns, the less he can be manipulated or trapped. If you've ever been the one who teaches yourself everything, who adapts quickly, who grows through experience instead of instruction, this video is for you. You're not scattered. You're strategic. You're not unfocused. You're free. Watch this till the end, and you'll understand why your ability to do many things isn't confusion. It's your silent proof that you were built to thrive alone. Let's get started, gents. Number 1, he learns out of necessity, not curiosity. A Sigma male doesn't learn just because he's curious. He learns because he has no other choice. Life never handed him comfort, and he never expected it to. While others wait for guidance, he's already knee-deep in figuring things out on his own. He doesn't read the manual. He becomes the manual. That's the difference. His motivation doesn't come from wanting to impress anyone. It comes from survival, pride, and a deep sense of self-respect that refuses to beg for help. You see, when the average person hits a problem, they reach for a phone or another person. But the Sigma looks inward. He sits with the problem until it unfolds. That's where his genius grows. In silence, in solitude, in moments where no one is watching. His independence is not a statement, it's a habit. He's had to learn how to repair what broke, build what's missing, and teach himself what no one ever bothered to explain. That kind of learning burns differently. It sticks because it's carved into his experience, not borrowed from someone else's theory. When he finally understands something, it's not just knowledge, it's wisdom earned through grit. That's why he moves through life with a quiet confidence. He knows that whatever comes his way, he can figure it out. He's done it 100 times before. People often mistake his calmness for detachment, but it's actually mastery. He doesn't panic because he's trained himself to adapt. He doesn't depend on luck because he trusts his ability to learn. The world can change overnight, but he will adjust faster than anyone else because he's built his life around self-reliance. This is what separates him from the rest. He doesn't wait for life to teach him gently. He wrestles with it, breaks it apart, and learns every hidden piece. For the Sigma male, learning isn't a choice. It's his weapon, his shield, and his freedom. Number 2, he connects unrelated skills to create rare insight. A Sigma male doesn't learn like everyone else. Most people walk through knowledge in straight lines, one subject at a time, one goal in mind. But the Sigma moves differently. His mind weaves connections between things that seem to have nothing in common. He might mix lessons from ancient philosophy with modern business, or take principles from human psychology and apply them to technology or art. The result is thinking that's fresh, unpredictable, and impossible to copy. What makes him fascinating is the way his brain refuses to stay in one lane. He sees patterns where others see random details. When he learns something new, he instantly looks for where it fits in the bigger picture. That's why his ideas sound strange at first, but end up being ahead of their time. He's the kind of person who could study history and somehow find strategies for the future. Nothing he learns ever stands alone. Everything becomes part of a web that grows stronger with every new insight. This is also why people often underestimate him. They think he's just scattered or undecided because they can't see the invisible thread tying all his knowledge together. But the Sigma can. He knows how every piece connects, and when the time comes, he uses that network of skills to solve problems in ways no one expects. His mind is like a workshop where logic meets creativity. He can see how emotional intelligence can improve leadership, how philosophy can make business more humane, or how nature's design can inspire better technology. That fusion of ideas is his quiet superpower. In a world that rewards specialization, the Sigma stands out by thinking beyond categories. He's not trying to be everything. He's trying to see everything. And because he does, he often discovers shortcuts, truths, and opportunities that specialists completely miss. He doesn't just connect dots. He redraws the map entirely. Number 3, he never lets identity limit ability. A SigmaMale is never trapped by identity. He doesn't see himself as a label, a job title, or a single role in society. He's not the type to say, "This is who I am, so I can only do this." Instead, he keeps expanding. If one day he wants to build something with his hands and the next day he wants to create something with his mind, he does it without asking for anyone's approval. He's not chasing consistency, he's chasing evolution. Most people let identity become a cage. They cling to what sounds respectable, afraid of being seen as scattered or inconsistent. But the Sigma sees that fear as a trap. He understands that identity should serve him, not control him. He can be a thinker one moment and a doer the next. He can switch from fixing a broken engine to discussing philosophy without feeling like he's contradicting himself. To him, skill is freedom. Labels are chains. This is why he seems unpredictable to others. People like things that fit neatly into boxes. But the Sigma refuses to shrink himself to make others comfortable. He knows that greatness often looks confusing in the beginning. Every new thing he learns adds another dimension to who he is. He's not trying to be everything. He's trying to be whole. He understands that the world keeps changing, and those who define themselves too narrowly get left behind. That's why he adapts so easily. He's not tied to one version of himself. He reinvents when he needs to, learns when he must, and evolves when the situation demands it. The SigmaMale's power lies in his flexibility. He doesn't care if the world calls him a builder, a thinker, a leader, or a loner. He just keeps adding layers to his mind and skill set until no one can quite define him. That's the beauty of it. He's too vast to be labeled, too fluid to be trapped. Number 4, he's a quiet observer of systems. A SigmaMale moves through the world like an observer, not a participant. While everyone else rushes to play the game, he steps back to study how the game actually works. He notices patterns in people, loopholes in power, and unspoken rules that most overlook. To him, nothing just happens. Everything runs on a system, and once he understands that system, he either masters it or rebuilds it completely. He watches how people behave when they think no one is watching. He notices the rhythm in conversations, the shifts in tone, the hidden motives behind words. In workplaces, friendships, or relationships, he can tell who truly has influence and who only pretends to. It's not about judgment, it's about understanding structure. The SigmaMale wants to know what makes things move, what holds them together, and what can quietly break them apart. This ability makes him seem almost mysterious. While others speak, he listens. While they act, he analyzes. That silence isn't passivity, it's calculation. By the time others realize what's happening, he already knows how to respond. He's like a chess player who studies every piece before touching the board. Because he studies systems so deeply, He's never easily fooled. Whether it's human behavior, business, or technology, he understands that every structure has a pattern, and every pattern has a weak point. Once he finds it, he can either use it to his advantage or rebuild it into something stronger. What's remarkable is that he doesn't learn these things through books or authority figures. He learns through observation, through watching life unfold in real time. His mind works like a scanner, quietly gathering information and storing it for the right moment. That's why he rarely gets trapped in manipulation or chaos. He sees the structure behind both. To the SigmaMale, power isn't about control, it's about comprehension. Once he understands the system, it no longer controls him. He controls the outcome. Number 5, he has an instinct for usefulness. A SigmaMale doesn't learn things just to look smart. He learns them because they serve a purpose. His mind is like a workshop, not a museum. Every skill, every bit of knowledge, every habit he picks up must earn its place. If it doesn't make him sharper, freer, or more capable, he lets it go without hesitation. He's not trying to collect random talents. He's building a system of skills that actually work for him in real life. This is what separates him from the crowd. Most people chase knowledge to impress others or to feel relevant. The SigmaMale chases knowledge that solves problems. He's practical to the core. If he studies psychology, it's to understand people better and protect his peace. If he learns about money, it's to secure his independence. If he picks up a physical skill, it's to stay ready for the unexpected. Nothing is random. Everything is part of a larger plan. His brain is constantly filtering information, asking one question: how can this help me or the people I care about? That instinct for usefulness makes his learning style extremely efficient. He doesn't waste energy memorizing what he'll never apply. He's selective, and that's why his skills carry real weight. People might think he knows less than he actually does, but that's because he doesn't show off. His abilities reveal themselves only when needed, and when they do, it's usually at the perfect time. He doesn't chase trends or useless complexity. He keeps what works and discards the rest. To the SigmaMale, usefulness equals power. It's what keeps him grounded in reality while still being capable of extraordinary things. His knowledge isn't just in his mind, it lives in his actions. He knows how to fix, adapt, build, and survive. And that's why he's always one step ahead. He doesn't waste time trying to know everything. He focuses on what actually makes a difference. Number 6, he treats failure as field research. A SigmaMale doesn't crumble when he fails. He studies it. To him, failure isn't a wound to hide, but a field report full of information. When things go wrong, he doesn't get stuck in shame or self-pity. He looks at what happened with a clear mind and starts breaking it apart piece by piece. What worked? What didn't? What can be done differently next time? That's how his mind operates, like a scientist in a lab where every mistake reveals another piece of truth. Most people treat failure as proof that they're not good enough. The SigmaMale treats it as feedback. He knows that pain carries data if you're willing to listen. Every rejection, every setback, every plan that falls apart gives him insight that success never could. Instead of saying, "I failed," he says, "Now I understand." That shift in thinking is what makes him evolve faster than others. He's not emotionally attached to being right. He's committed to getting better. So he doesn't defend his mistakes, he dissects them. He learns from patterns, not pride. That's why his growth feels almost invisible, until suddenly he's 10 steps ahead while others are still licking their wounds. This calm approach to failure makes him dangerous in the best way. You can't break someone who doesn't fear being wrong. You can't defeat a man who uses every loss as a strategy session for his next win. Over time, this habit gives him an edge. While most people get discouraged and quit, he collects lessons and refines his methods. The world sees him as lucky, but luck has nothing to do with it. It's the result of countless quiet experiments, adjustments, and comebacks. For the SigmaMale, failure isn't the end. It's field research for the masterpiece he's still building. Number 7. He studies people as much as he studies craft. A SigmaMale doesn't just master skills, he masters people. He understands that knowing how to deal with tools, systems, or knowledge means nothing if you can't read the humans behind them. That's why he studies people with the same intensity he studies any craft. He wants to know what drives them, what scares them, and what their silence says when their words try to lie. To him, psychology isn't a subject, it's survival. He learns how emotions shape decisions, how tone changes meaning, and how small gestures can reveal entire motives. When someone speaks, he listens not just to the words, but to what's beneath them. It's not manipulation, it's understanding. He knows that truth often hides behind layers of performance, and silence usually tells him more than a speech ever could. This makes him naturally intuitive. He can sense tension in a room before anyone else feels it. He can tell when someone's confidence is real or just a mask. He doesn't react impulsively because he already knows the emotional layout of every interaction. That's his quiet advantage. The SigmaMale sees communication as an art form. He studies it to express himself clearly and to cut through confusion. He doesn't talk to fill space. He speaks when he has something that matters to say. His words are chosen with precision because he values meaning over noise. While others chase technical expertise, he understands that mastery of people is the highest skill of all. It opens doors, prevents betrayal, and builds influence without force. He knows that the world runs on human behavior, and whoever can read it wins. So yes, he learns craft, but he also learns character. He can fix machines, but he can also fix tension. He can understand a concept, but he can also understand a person. His intelligence isn't limited to logic. It flows through empathy, observation, and timing. That's what makes his range truly unmatched. Number 8. He learns by immersion, not instruction. A SigmaMale doesn't wait for the perfect time to begin, he just begins. While others look for a teacher, a guide, or a course, he throws himself straight into the experience. He learns by immersion, not instruction. He believes the best lessons are learned in the middle of the storm, not from the safety of the classroom. Mistakes don't scare him, they educate him. Every failure is a stepping stone, every setback a hidden manual. He knows that real understanding doesn't come from theory, it comes from touch, trial, and tension. You can't learn how to swim by watching others do it, and the SigmaMale understands that better than anyone. So he dives right in, trusting that his instincts, focus, and adaptability will shape the outcome. This fearless approach allows him to master things faster than those who wait for permission or direction. He doesn't need validation to start something new. Once he's curious about a subject, he immerses himself completely. He experiments, tests, fails, and recalibrates until it makes sense. That hands-on experience becomes a kind of muscle memory that sticks for life. While others memorize steps, he internalizes the process. What makes this approach powerful is that he's never paralyzed by uncertainty. He expects chaos in the beginning. He expects to look foolish for a while. But he also knows that everyone who truly learns must walk through that same messy phase. He just embraces it without fear. Over time, this habit gives him a quiet mastery that's impossible to fake. His skills don't come from instruction, they come from immersion, from doing the hard work directly. That's why his learning feels raw, authentic, and deeply ingrained. The SigmaMale doesn't just study life, he steps into it, unprepared but unafraid, and comes out transformed. Number 9. He can read the rhythm of any environment. A SigmaMale has a rare ability. He can walk into any environment and instantly feel its rhythm. Whether it's the noise of city life, the tension of office politics, or the silence of the wild, he senses how everything moves and connects. It's not magic, it's awareness. He pays attention to energy, to tone, to tempo. Within moments, he understands what drives that space, who has influence, what is valued, what's fake, and what's real. He doesn't need anyone to explain the rules because he can read them through observation. If he steps into a corporate setting, he can tell who truly makes decisions, even if that person isn't the one with the title. If he's in a crowd, he can feel the collective mood before a word is spoken. And if he's in nature, he tunes into the quiet order of it all, the wind, the light, the stillness that others miss. His senses act like an antenna, picking up signals most people overlook. This makes him adaptable in a way that feels almost uncanny. He doesn't force his presence or copy others to fit in. He simply aligns himself with the rhythm of the place. And once he understands it, he can move within it or completely shift it to his advantage. He blends when needed, stands out when it serves a purpose, and disappears when it's time to retreat. That awareness keeps him safe, effective, and respected. It's why he rarely finds himself in deep trouble. He can sense when something is off before it becomes a problem. He studies the flow of people and situations until he becomes part of it, almost invisible, yet fully in control. The SigmaMale doesn't just survive in any environment, he decodes it. He doesn't try to dominate the space. He learns its language, adjusts to its pulse, and when he's ready, he rewrites the rhythm entirely. Number 10, he's comfortable being a beginner. A SigmaMale has no fear of starting from zero. In fact, he welcomes it. While most people avoid being beginners because it bruises their ego, he sees it as the doorway to growth. He knows that everything great begins with awkward first steps, and he's fine with that. To him, not knowing something isn't weakness, it's opportunity. That mindset alone puts him miles ahead of those who refuse to look foolish. His ego doesn't need protection, it needs progress. When he steps into something new, he doesn't pretend to already understand it. He listens, observes, experiments, and lets the process shape him. He's not attached to looking impressive. He's focused on becoming capable. That humility turns into speed. Because when you're not afraid of mistakes, you learn faster than everyone who is busy guarding their pride. He doesn't compare his chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. He simply stays consistent, knowing that mastery always begins with discomfort. And that's where most people fail. They quit when the learning curve gets steep. The SigmaMale keeps climbing. He has no problem admitting, "I don't know yet," because the key word is yet. That word drives him to keep pushing until he does. His comfort with being a beginner makes him unpredictable. He can reinvent himself at any time. He can walk into a new field, an unfamiliar skill, or an entirely different world and adapt quickly. His lack of ego turns into quiet power because he's not tied to one version of himself. That's what makes him evolve endlessly. He's not limited by reputation or fear of failure. He starts, learns, adapts, and repeats. While others stay stuck trying to protect an image, he builds ability. The SigmaMale understands that real confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from being unafraid to start again. Number 11, he knows versatility is the real form of control. A SigmaMale understands something most people overlook. Control doesn't come from dominating others. It comes from mastering yourself. He doesn't crave power in the traditional sense. He doesn't need to lead armies, command attention, or have everyone follow his word. His version of control is quieter, deeper, and far more powerful. It's the kind that comes from versatility. When you can handle almost anything life throws your way, you no longer need to fear it. That's his secret weapon. While others depend on experts, systems, or approval, he depends on himself. He's built a wide range of abilities that make him adaptable in any situation. If something breaks, he can fix it. If plans collapse, he can rebuild. If circumstances shift, he adjusts without losing his center. That level of flexibility makes him untouchable. He's never fully at the mercy of the world because he has prepared for it in silence. He doesn't talk about control, he lives it. His independence isn't loud, it's steady. You can see it in how calm he remains when everyone else panics. That calmness comes from knowing he has options. He's not trapped in one role, one skill, or one version of life. He can shift gears at will, and that adaptability gives him the kind of freedom most people spend their lives chasing. Versatility to him isn't about being scattered, it's about being complete. He's not trying to be good at everything for show. He's building the ability to stay balanced no matter where he lands. That's why he moves through life with quiet confidence. Because real control doesn't shout. It flows from self-reliance, from knowing that whatever happens, he can adjust, adapt, and rise again. The Sigma male doesn't chase control, he becomes it. In final words, the more you can do for yourself, the less the world can do against you. That's the silent philosophy that shapes the Sigma male. He doesn't chase titles, applause, or validation. He just wants to be capable enough to stand on his own 2 feet no matter where life throws him. While others spend their time trying to master one lane, the Sigma explores them all, slowly, quietly, and with purpose. He isn't trying to impress anyone. He's trying to prepare himself. You see, being a jack of all trades isn't about being average at everything. It's about being unstoppable when life decides to test you. It's about being able to rebuild yourself when the world takes something away. And that's what makes the Sigma male different. His strength doesn't come from dominance. It comes from adaptability. He can walk into chaos and still find order. He can be alone and still create progress. He learns what he needs, not to show off, but to stay free. If you recognize this in yourself, if you've always been the one who figures things out on your own, who learns by doing, who quietly builds without waiting for instruction, you're not lost or scattered. You're a Sigma male. You were never meant to fit into one role because your mind was designed to see the whole map. So keep learning, keep building, keep expanding your skill set without apology. The world may not always understand your range, but one day it will rely on it. You don't have to be the loudest in the room to be the most capable. Your versatility is your power, and your independence is your proof. You are not just surviving. You're mastering life on your own terms. Thank you for watching, Gents, and God bless you.